and welcome back to Cyrils Brettspiele durchgespielt.
Word.
Yeah, that's cool. With a guy from obviously Werder Bremen.
Apparently so.
Yeah, from Germany obviously, and another guy from whatever. Anyway, today we are talking about Cyclades.
Yes.
Is it Cyclades? Cyclades.
It's more.
Especially we are talking about Titans of Cyclades.
There you go.
Right? The super new expansion for Cyclades.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I know. But you were excited for Cyclades as well, so you waited for the expansion, and here it is on the table for you, right? With, and let's say it again, Showan and Nils.
Alright.
Who is going for the rules today?
Who do you think?
Would we like to...
I'll fight you for it.
Would we like to roll a die for it?
Alright, let's go. Highest roll.
It's you!
Oh, it's a tie! One more. What the heck? Okay.
Let's make a decision. It's
Alright,
you.
fine.
So the game plays more or less the same as the base game. There's some major differences, however. The first you'll notice is the board is completely different. So you're going to use the board from the Titans game based on how many players you start with. You'll notice that it's focused on an island, and each space is a territory. That's kind of like a close-up of something from the base game. All the combat is going to take place on this island here. Now the game starts, there's initially one of each building type out here. It's to help move things along. Now in the base game you had fixed setup. Depending on how many players there were, they would start in certain positions. It should be noted that in this expansion there is a free positioning. How that works is you're going to determine your setup by, there's a preliminary bidding round. Over here players are basically going to bid on the god, and whichever god's favor that they win for that round, they're going to get a certain bonus. I think it's usually a additional troop, additional fleet, could be extra building, depending on who it is, and they're going to take those rewards and keep them and place their troops on the island. So in this example you have here, everybody has to be adjacent. The fleets are adjacent to the land territories and so on. The next addition is the addition of the 6th player, the purple color. My favorite choice. They look beautiful. As always, these components, I really like them. You'll also notice these little titans here, which I'll get to in a second. Brings me to the next difference, the inclusion of the Titan Kronos. This guy's badass. Now his power is going to be a little bit different depending on where he comes up in the track. If, for example, let's say he's at the top of the bid order. Now the symbol here means that he'll get the player that controls him will get a Titan. That's if he's at the top. If he's further down the bid order, like maybe here, now instead of getting the Titan as a reward, he's going to be able to choose any one of these buildings from the gods that are above him on the turn order. So obviously if he's down here, this is very powerful because now the player controlling him will get a chance to choose any one of these buildings that are normally controlled or offered by these gods. So the further down he is, the more valuable he could be. I mean, that's gonna help you get what you need to win the game. Also, a player controlling him has the option to buy 1 additional Titan for 2 gold. You can't buy more than 1 on your turn. So let's talk about these Titans. Aside from them being really cool, really tough looking, so you can never have more than 3 at one time on the board. Now the way they work is, how they move on the board is very important, because in Titans you don't need to have Ares control in order to move your guys around. As long as I bid on any other god, anyone other than Apollo, I have a chance to move Titans around on my turn. How you do that? Let's say I look at the space, here's my Titans. If I want to move them, the first time I move them on my turn is going to cost me 1 gold. I can get them over to this space here. Now if I want to move them again on my turn, it's 2 gold. I can move them here. If I want to move them again, it's going to cost me 3 gold, and so on and so on. That's how they move around. Now you can do that as long as, if you don't have areas under your control, you can move a Titan on the board, as long as you pay the gold for it. So the more spaces I want to move the Titans, for every additional move that I want to move them, it's going to cost me 1 more gold piece to move them than the last turn. Now, for battle purposes, the Titans count as 1 troop. However, they're not considered to be a normal troop. There's certain cards, I think one of them is the Harpy card, if somebody plays a Harpy on you, which lets you kill a troop or remove one of your opponent's troops. That's not going to work on this guy. Why? Because he's so badass. Look at him. Look how tough he is. You know, he's going to destroy that Harpy. He's going to smash him. So certain powers cannot be used on the Titans. Now if I lose in battle, I can choose whether I want to kill off a normal guy or a Titan. Why you'd want to kill off a Titan, I don't know. But maybe you want to do that. Maybe you don't like his bald head. I don't know. But yeah, that pretty much covers the Titans. The next difference. Let's talk about the special Metropolises. Now, you're still trying to be the first to control 2 at the end of a cycle. However, at the beginning of the game, there's 5 special Metropolis cards. You draw 2 of them. Now you can see here they differ slightly. They still give you all the powers of a normal Metropolis, but each one has a special tile that goes with it. In this case, a person controlling this Metropolis gets 2 extra income. With this one, you would spend 3 philosophers to get your other Metropolis rather than the normal 4. So these are placed over here at the beginning of the game. Now the first time a player gets to build a Metropolis, they have the choice. They can take a normal one or they can choose one of these special ones. And if they choose one of the special ones, they'll take that card, they'll put the tile down into whatever territory they control, and now they're controlling that, they're getting the benefits unless somebody comes along and takes it from them, just like in the normal game. The second player who gets to control a Metropolis will take the other one. After that, there's no more special ones. The rest of them are just normal Metropolises. So once again, the player who controls 2 of them can win the game. There's a new victory condition added. If you take a look here, these are divine artifacts. All different things. Now each one has a separate card that goes with it. You've got your Helmet of Invisibility, I think, the Winged Sandals, the Cornucopia, Zeus's Lightning Bolt, I can't even remember what the heck that's called. They all give you certain powers if you control them. So once these come out on the creature track as normal, so let's say whatever that one shows up, you have the chance to buy the artifact like you would any other creature. You take that artifact, put it in a territory that you control. That's now yours until you defeat it and somebody else can take it from you. Now the victory condition is that any player at any time, as soon as they end up controlling their 5th divine artifact, the game ends immediately and that player will win. So the game plays out exactly the same way as the base game. Like I said, you're trying to control 2 Metropolises at the end of the cycle. As soon as you're the first player who does that, you win the game.
Okay, Showan, thanks so much for the rules and the overview of the new parts of the rules from Titans. So let's talk about the component and start with the components. Should I start?
No question. I'll start. No question about it. I mean, if you played the base game, I'm sure like the base game is famous for its components. I think the level of detail on these. Oh, I hear a lot of people talk about it. Yeah. The level of detail on these components is awesome, and this expansion, I mean, just adds the. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's technically
same thing.
Yeah,
Like
technically a cool add-on, cool new miniatures, cool new artifacts.
The Titan figures, I love them. I think they look so cool. They look like this guy with the big hammer there. He looks awesome.
But to be honest, what I really like on that game, and that's maybe a little bit beyond that review today, is I wish they included 2 or 3 more of the creatures. But maybe there's a second game from the same publisher, Matago. Is it Matago?
Yeah.
Pronunciation?
I think so.
Anyway, so it's just a pronunciation. So from Matago, which is called Kemet, and they have creatures included as well. This is in the Egypt Ancients, I guess, located with wings and all that stuff. So they have creatures included as well. So and there is a mix package. It's called C2K. Cyclades meets Kemet.
Oh, yeah, the
So
crossover.
and there's a crossover thing. It's only a couple of cards, but you can include the miniatures from Kemet. So if you want to really epic game of that, you can easily include that. I'm pretty sure that's 6 creatures in Kemet, right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
So you can include that 6 creature, and then you have more miniatures, which is awesome. So I wish they included 1 or 2 more, because I really like the miniatures. But yeah, anyway, let's speak about the components here. And yeah, that's a typical new Mother add-on. It's really cool new creatures. It's a cool new color. So yeah, that's a really good add-on.
Oh, something about this purple. I really like it. And
Yeah, but maybe you really like purple because you're in a town where purple is very famous, right?
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
I promise it has nothing to do with that.
Okay. Anyway, so technically it's the same quality and the same of the base game, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, I still love it.
So this is still awesome too. Let's talk a little bit about the mechanic, the freshness, the new ideas, ways of winning strategies in the game. For me, it totally changes the base game. The base game was with a little bit of a slow start. Everybody starts on his island, and you have to pick either a Poseidon or Ares to get in close combat, and there was only 1 or 2 ways to get a conflict each round, except for 1 creatures or 2 creatures. So there was a little bit of slow instead of fighting, which I really liked. So I really like to play Cyclades and also Titans with not a full swing of 6 players here or 5 players, because then you have always all the gods inside. What I really like is if you only play with 4 players and you know exactly 2 gods are out every round, so you have no freaking idea which god is coming out this round, so you don't know if you can fight. But in Titan it's a little bit different because of this new Titan figures. So every round it could be a fight. Every round there's a threatening of being attacked by your opponent. And that makes this version of Cyclades so brutal, so in your face. I really like it. So it's a fast start, directly confrontation. So it's really a brutal version of Cyclades.
I think in the base game there was opportunity. You could sit back if you were on an island and you could kind of build up your forces and then wait till they got to a certain point and then you could go attack. That was one strategy in the base game. This, you're not safe anywhere. Maybe you're stuck out on this island. There's 2 islands here that you can control for extra prosperity tokens, but even then everything is so tight.
I call all of them this prosperity tokens Horn of Gondor.
Oh yeah, the Horn of Gondor. But you're not safe here. Like, you can't hide anywhere. Maybe like you're exposed right from the get-go, and I love that. It does increase
you're right. I mean, if you're over here, the purple one, and he wants to meet the yellow one, he has to pay 1, additional 2 make 3, additional 3 make 6 gold, and he's there and can fight the yellow one. So with just 6 gold, you know exactly. If you know Cyclades, 6 gold is not just nothing, but with 6 gold he can attack yellow. So nobody, thanks for that sentence, nobody is safe in that game. If you really want it, go there, smash your opponent in your face.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a really direct confrontation version of Cyclades.
Yeah, and there was some, I don't know if I should bring it up now, then are we going into the critics, or?
Are we on the edge of critics? So if you want to, would we like to stuck for a second for winning?
Sure, let's
way?
go with that.
Do you really figure out a way to win the game?
How to win the game? Just be aggressive. Kick some butt. Go after your opponents.
Really?
Don't be afraid.
Really? That's interesting. That is your way to win the game.
That's one way.
To be honest, for me, it's still the most powerful move in the first 2 rounds is go to Apollon and save your little area and speed up your income a little bit in the first 2 rounds. So in the base game it was obviously more interesting because you you stayed in your little area for forever if you wanted on your island.
Yeah, okay.
But it's still an extreme powerful move to collect this Horn of Gondors
The Horn of Gondor.
in the first round. So that's still my major winning strategy, to build up in the first 2 rounds your economy, strength, and then go from that part.
Well, yeah, you have to have some income, otherwise,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, you can move the Titans around, but you need money to do it, right? So once you get past that part, though, yeah, it's just all out attacking and trying to stay on top and try and conquer as much territory as you can. Accept the fact that you're gonna lose territory, but you just gotta try and benefit from it as soon as you can. If you can hold it, great, but chances are you won't be able to for long.
What I really figure out is really interesting in changing the strategy from the base game to this game is, in the base game, you know exactly there could be only one guy who's attacking a turn, the guy who controls everything this turn. In this game,
Poseidon in the water.
yeah, but this is not taking away some income from you, except for the Water Chronicles. So the main income comes from the land, the islands.
Yeah.
So, but in this game, it could be 3 or even every player could attack you. So that means if the first player has a really rush and attacks everybody on the board, then the second and the third player could maybe take an advantage of all the killed armies around and taking the weak territories.
Exactly.
So that changes the winning strategy dramatically. So you are never safe.
You still gotta play it smart.
So this time it's a little bit more. In the last game in Cyclades, without the expansion, one really good winning strategy could be keeping always Ares if you can afford it. Then you keep all the other ones from attacking you just by grabbing every turn Ares. This time you have to play a little bit defense way. So if you are the first attacker in the game, you will maybe not winning the game because everybody hates you. So, yeah, it's a dramatically changing of strategies.
I really like the changes. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's confrontation directly from the beginning, just from the get-go, directly into the face. But this is exactly the right point to go into the critics, because we are directly in confrontation. Do you have any critics?
Well, there was one critic I heard. I remember people talking about the...
Is it again one of your research things?
Of course. In the games that I played, when I played Titans,
I love you, man.
you gotta read, man. There was a little bit of a concern. You can't read?
That's my problem.
That's why he likes these icons.
Only if they are good.
There was a concern that there was lack of combat with Poseidon and the fleets in this game. And I mean, I'm undecided. Do you think that there's less emphasis on the fleets then? Do you think they're more, do you think they're less useful now? Or I mean, I think they still have a pretty important use.
Yeah. Good question.
Because there's a lot of...
Didn't expect that yet, but if I remember correctly, I would say yes. Yes and no. I'm in between. Why, I can explain. So definitely Poseidon loses a lot of his potential of getting into conflict.
Do you think it's a lot of...
It's dramatically.
Really?
He loses dramatically, but in the same way it turns into a more economic guy. Okay. So because now it's more important. It's never more important to build a road or call it a road or a way to get into other points. Now it's more important to grab these chronicle on sea points, because that's directly income. So he is turning from war god into an economy god for me.
Yeah,
that's a dramatically change of Poseidon. And yes, I see definitely it's not more any more war god. Chips has nothing to do with war anymore, but it has to do a lot with income.
Yeah, but what if another player wants to take that from you? Because
then it's dramatically interesting to get that guy. Definitely.
I mean, the games that I played, I never went all out to try and attack other ships, because usually...
And that's the reason why you lost.
Well, no. if I have ships on income spaces, I'm not inclined to go and attack because they're more useful on the income. But if somebody comes out and they decide, I never really focused on going after somebody else's ships, and maybe that is a good strategy.
Yeah, but let's say I'm blue and I'm over here. Let's say that just for a second.
That's the problem.
I hope you can see that, guys. But if I take this, and that with just one round of Poseidon, and I can pay for that, and usually I can, so then I get an income of 4 more gold every round, and that everybody who 2 on here.
There's 2 on there?
Yeah,
oh,
2.
I didn't see the second there,
and everybody who knows Cyclades knows 4 income is
it's a big deal.
Whoa!
So in that case, if the other players are smart, they should rush to take that away.
Yes, that means next time, first of all, it has to be a god in the game. If we are not playing with a full swing, it could easily happen that this is not available next turn. And in the turn after, with my huge income of 4, which is in 2 rounds 8, right? I can easily afford to overbid you and save that position for 3, 4, 5 rounds, which is a dramatically income.
But you're forgetting about these. I could get priests beforehand.
Yeah. I forgot about this, all the counter strategies. But what my point is to say, Poseidon loses his ability of being a war god. There is no war in it. Now Poseidon is getting an economy god instead of a war god.
It is tougher because now for me to go after him, I've got to go from here all the way over
you have
there.
no chance.
And that's really hard to do.
The only guy who could get after me is yellow with a huge fleet over here, blah blah blah, and take maybe 1 out or 2. Or the Kraken. The Kraken is now getting a little bit more
I forgot about
important.
him.
Yeah. So if the Kraken comes out and the guy with the Kraken put it on here and pays 1, 2, 3, 4 gold, and he can crush me, that is a wow.
Yeah.
So to be back on track, Poseidon changes a lot of his face, so he has a new face off in the game.
Yeah, so that was one of the main concerns that I was reading about this game.
I don't have any concern.
Does it hurt the game?
No,
Absolutely not. I just think it changes it.
exactly. You have to know that.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got no problem with that because I think this game plays very well. I love this game. I think it's awesome. I thought the base game was excellent. It's
Outstanding.
This is awesome. I love it. It's way better. I mean, I wouldn't refuse playing the base game, but I think this is a lot more exciting.
You would say awesome is more than excellent.
I say awesome is awesome.
Okay.
Yes. An answer to your question.
Yeah. So, to be honest, I have no critics on that game as well. I mean, if I really want to search a critical point,
Go on, search.
go really dig it.
Find the tiniest one.
I figured out these artifacts. They are cool. They are useful. But I never saw someone winning with collecting these 5 artifacts.
That is not yet either.
That is nearly impossible to cycle through this whole pile and one person collect all of them. So I never saw that. So this is a rule you don't know. You don't need.
Well, I think it was put there, the rule was there just to add an option. It's probably not likely it's going to happen. Like, I haven't seen a game where maybe by some crazy luck, you'll get the first 5 cards within the first portion of the deck and you can buy them. Great. But I found that it's unlikely to happen. I think
but then you have to have it all in hand of one player. And how stupid can the other players be to let one guy buying all that, or even if one guy collected 4, not hiding that in a troop of 8 armies.
As I'm saying, I think it's unlikely to happen. Why the rule exists? Maybe it's just there to as an insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it's a clarification of the rules.
I'm sure the designers didn't think, hey, let's try and make this happen in the game. I'm sure it's just added there as like an insurance, just so the game doesn't take forever. But it's more than likely what's going to happen is somebody's going to get the Metropolises.
That's my only critic, and what is that for a critic if I'm digging so deep and say there's a rule in the rulebook that never happened, so hey,
if that's your only problem with this game, I think you're gonna be okay with it.
I'm more than blowing out of the roof. Okay, that was critics. The next point is fun replayability. Or is it?
Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think? Is it fun? Not at all.
I'm just looking at your face and you're smiling.
That's why
I want it to come out. I want it to come out. If you're so under pressure to say something, go ahead.
I think the game is a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, the base game was awesome. To this day, I have not played the Hades expansion. I have it in my basement. I have not played it yet. I don't know why that is. I think this guy still has it sealed on a shelf.
Yeah, here's a fun fact. We both own that game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Why
Because
would-
we love it. Because really, to be honest, we love it. And yes, I fully agree 100%. I would smile if I could, like Showan.
If you could smile.
Yeah, I'm the bad guy here. So if I could smile like you, I would smile the same way because yes, I like it. It's such a confrontation game. I mean, you have to be a noob for a real bad blood fight. Obviously, yes. But it's so straight in your face. It's such a good game. Yes.
The last game that we played, it was a 5-player game.
Oh,
And
brutal.
why I'm bringing that up is because for a couple of specific reasons. I mean, this game, I was pissed by the time I lost that game. I was pissed off. And as far as I'm concerned, if a game can really piss you off if you lose, or really give you that sense of fulfillment if you win, if it can get that emotional response out of you, then I think the game is awesome. Because that's what it's supposed to do. It's not like I got pissed and then I hated everybody else I was playing with. No, but I was pissed that I lost. And at the end of the game, I was like, you know what? That was an awesome game.
I disagree. To make this emotions that I'm pissed off by a game that could also be because the game is lame and stupid. And
Not the way I'm talking.
not the way. Yeah, I fully understand, but I try to clarify that. So I could be pissed off by a game because it's lame, because I'm sitting around the table for 2 hours and doing nothing, and could be really emotional if I see the other ones have fun.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is I'm playing the game. It's a good game. I know I'm playing it. Everybody's playing it well, but you're just pissed that you lost. Because you're just mad at the guy for just taking that Metropolis. You just want to grab him, like give him a couple shots. That's what I'm talking about. To get that kind of emotional response out of you, that's awesome.
And I agree with
That's
that.
what you need.
And I agree with that point. If you're so intense by the game, intense by the war, intense by the fight, that you really want to win and then you are screwed up in the last second and then you are disappointed and you're emotionally... You see my hands? It's so emotional in that game that you feel like this.
Put that in your hand.
No, then I break it. So that is what Showan means, I guess. I hope I understand you correctly.
Yeah.
Then the game must be awesome because you're emotionally...
It's doing what it's designed to do, I think. The other thing about that last game that we were playing, it can be argued whether...
By the way, who won the game last time? By the way, just to let the audience know.
I don't know, was it you?
Surprise!
Oh, did you cheat again? No.
Yes.
Okay, anyways,
sorry.
This is what I'm trying to say. The game, the way it was playing out, and I think, honestly, everybody gets focused on this here. I think the heart of the game is right here, with this bidding. Because, whatever, I'm not putting this in any particular order. I think the game happens here. Because when you're bidding on this, how intense was the bidding war that we were having there? You know, you have a strategy in mind, and you know which god you need, so you bid. And then some jackass comes along and bids against you, and you're like, what are you doing, man? So you gotta take that, move it somewhere else. That bidding was so intense the last couple of cycles in the last game we played. That's what was happening. Because we knew that once everybody got their god here, we already knew what was gonna happen here. That was a given. You just getting from here and getting the god you wanted, that was where the tension was. And I swear, the tension was so thick in the air, because
I
could feel it.
Now I know what you're talking with the game is decided over here.
Yeah, I think this is where it happens, and then this is just like carrying it out.
But in the base game, there's one way to trigger that around, which is this god over here.
Zeus?
I always forgot the name of Zeus. So
It's the most important god.
yeah, because you can cycle through the deck, right? You can cycle through the creature, and in the last turn you can try to cheat the guy who was potentially winning because he has 2 Metropol.
You can still do that in here though. That
Yeah.
rule is still there.
But what I wanted to say is, in this game, not even only Zeus can do that, every other god can do that by moving his Titans around the board and have a last fight shot.
Oh, you mean to try and steal?
Yeah,
the Metropolis
exactly.
away. Yeah.
So what this Titans add-on or Titans expansion makes it a little bit different is you are not safe if you're winning at the first or second
Yeah.
player. You are safe if you're the 4th or 5th player. So what I have to say about this trap is, in the last round it's maybe more important to pick a later god because you're more safe to hold your good position until the end of the round.
Yeah.
In the original game, you know exactly if you're the first player was Ares over here, there's only one
chances are
god,
pretty good
only
winning,
one god who can stop you, and that is Zeus.
Yeah.
That's the only god, and only if that player, has millions of money.
Yeah, because in this game, then you're if you're the first one to get the 2 Metropolises, and you got everybody else
Yeah, you're
has
the
to finish
victim.
their turn. You're sitting there the whole time, like.
Yeah, exactly. But that makes the game more tight and more.
And I think that's what happened. You took the Metropolis from somebody, and then nobody could get it back from you. I mean, I was like 1 gold coin short of being able
Yeah.
to move and try and fight. So I mean, that's where it comes from. That emotional response that you get out of that game. I mean, I think that's what the game is designed to do. And if it can do that, I love it. I think it's awesome.
I have to say, this review goes into an emotional level we never had before. So let's go over. And I'm trying to calm down and relax myself. Let's go over to the
Let's cut for a couple
recommendations.
seconds.
I'm 100% sure you will say highly recommendation.
Exactly. If I could give a higher one, then I would, but
Okay, then let's go over to me. For me, it's a highly recommendation too, with one little exception. If you're not a guy who likes direct confrontation and war in your face and a peaceful player, a SimCity guy,
then you probably wouldn't have even heard about this game.
Yeah,
You probably
exactly.
Tested out the base
Exactly,
game.
because this is a really brutal blood fight.
Yeah.
But if you only like it a little bit of a blood fight, this is the exact game you want. This is a highly recommendation of highly recommendations for me.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend that you do not play it with people who are sore losers.
The sour lemons.
Seriously, there's one guy that I used to know, and it'll be hilarious if he's actually watching. But I played a board game. It wasn't this, and I actually
I can't imagine that.
It ended up in a big fight, and seriously, I won't get into details, but it was funny.
I have a couple of friends. Couples. They are playing together games, even if they are playing Catan and they're not dealing friendly with each other. There's no beep for the next weeks. So I wouldn't play that game with these guys because I know exactly they would never attack
And that
each other.
really bugs me because I mean.
Can I say beep, by the way?
No, don't say it. Well, I know you said everything else. I think
Another PGA.
Yeah. I mean, these kind of games, fine. If you want to get mad, fine. If you're gonna yell and scream at each other and talk trash, I'm okay with that. But leave it at the table. Seriously, if you're gonna get up or get away from the table and then you're gonna be going home thinking, man, that guy's a loser. This is what he did.
Let me grab out
you've
my
got
chainsaw
issues.
for a second.
Yeah, then I think that person has issues. Stay away from games like this. You have to leave it at the table. It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
That's what the game was designed to do, so do it. Play in the spirit of the game.
So I'm pretty sure you feel right now, Showan and I, we're really addicted by this blood fight.
I don't know why we don't play it more.
I can tell it because we make the next review and we play test the next games. That's the reason why. Or
I would like to play it a lot more often. I mean,
okay, let's bring it to the table tomorrow.
You get it to the table every now and then, but it doesn't feel like it's enough.
Let's bring it to the table tomorrow, okay?
I want to be Zeus tomorrow.
Okay, let's do it a little bit around this time. This was another episode of Table Talk from Cyrils Brettspiele with
Showan.
Nils and Showan. Today the other way around. And we talked about Titans. Titans from Cyclades. The expansion from Mothergo for the base game. Yeah, as always, I would say we have a signature sentence for you.
Yeah, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so far.
See you next time. Okay,
Okay.
guys. And I would say, let's play it again.
Yeah.
Bye. See you.